The rain hammered against the hospital window like it was trying to drown out the flatline beep that still echoed in my skull, but nothing could wash away the image of Dad's hand going limp in mine. I was 25, staring at the man who'd raised me alone after Mom walked out, his chest no longer rising, and all I could think was how he'd whispered Theo in his final breath, not my name, but my half-brother's, the golden boy from his first marriage. In that sterile room in Seattle's Swedish Medical Center, with the scent of antiseptic burning my nostrils, I realized the family I'd clung to was a lie, and the only place left to run was straight into the arms of the brother I'd barely known. I packed my life into 2 duffel bags that night, the apartment Dad and I shared in Capitol Hill feeling like a tomb, every corner screaming his absence, the coffee mug still warm on the counter, his favorite armchair sagging under invisible weight. Mom had called once, her voice crisp and distant from her condo in Bellevue, offering condolences that sounded rehearsed, like she was reading from a script for someone else's grief. "Elias, honey, you'll be fine. Theo's got that big place now, go stay with him." As if it were that simple, as if she hadn't vanished when I was 8, leaving Dad to scrape by with double shifts at the Boeing plant while she jetted off to find herself, with her yoga retreats and new husband number 3. I didn't argue. I just hung up, the silence heavier than the storm outside. By dawn, I was on a ferry across the Sound, the gray waves mirroring the churn in my gut, heading to Theo's loft in Ballard, a neighborhood of craft breweries and salt-kissed air where hipsters pretended life wasn't as broken as it felt. Theo opened the door before I could knock, his frame filling the threshold like he'd been waiting. At 28, he was everything I wasn't, tall and solid from years coaching soccer at the local rec center, his blonde hair tousled from the wind, blue eyes sharp but softened by something I couldn't place. "Elias," he said, voice low and rough, pulling me into a hug that smelled of pine soap and fresh rain. His arms wrapped around me firm, unyielding, and for a second, I let myself sink into it, the first real human contact since Dad's heart gave out mid-sentence during our weekly chess game. "God, I'm so sorry. Come in. I've got the guest room ready." The loft was all exposed brick and reclaimed wood, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the ship canal below, a far cry from our cramped 2-bedroom, where Dad's tools cluttered every surface. Theo's life screamed success. Photos of him with laughing kids on the field, shelves of coaching manuals, a kitchen island piled with takeout menus from every ethnic spot in the neighborhood. But as he led me inside, I caught the flicker, a half-empty whiskey bottle on the coffee table, a stack of unopened mail. He was hurting too, just hiding it better. We didn't talk much that first night. He ordered Thai from the place down the block, pad cew and spring rolls, the kind of comfort food that sticks to your ribs, and we ate on the couch, the TV murmuring some forgotten Seahawks rerun. "Dad mentioned you a lot," Theo said finally, poking at his noodles. "Said you were the smart one, always buried in those history books." I snorted, the sound bitter even to my own ears. Smart hadn't kept Dad alive, hadn't stopped the cancer from sneaking up on him like a thief. Yeah, well, he was biased. "You were the athlete, the one who made him proud at every game." Theo's fork paused, his gaze dropping. "He came to my games, sure. But he called me every week, Elias. Even after Mom, our mom, cut ties. Our mom." The words twisted like a knife. She was his biological mother, the one who'd stuck around long enough to give birth to him before bailing on Dad for greener pastures. For me, she was a ghost, a faded signature on birthday cards that arrived late, if at all. I pushed my plate away, the spice burning my throat. She never called me once after she left. Not for graduations, not for anything. Theo's jaw tightened, but he just nodded, pouring us both a glass of the whiskey. "Family's complicated, but you're here now. That's what matters." Sleep didn't come easy in the guest room, the bed too soft, the walls too thin. I lay there listening to the distant hum of traffic on Market Street, my mind replaying Dad's last words. "Theo, why him?" I'd always known about the half-brother thing. Dad had told me when I was 12, after a particularly brutal parents' night where Mom's absence hung like a fog. "You've got a big brother out there, kiddo. Theo, good kid." His mom's. Well, things didn't work out. But we'd never met, not really. A awkward family picnic when I was 15, where Theo, already towering at 18, ruffled my hair and talked football while I hid behind my sketchpad, drawing the Olympics to escape. Now, crashing in his space, I felt like an intruder, sifting through the evidence of a life Mom had chosen over mine. The next morning, over black coffee strong enough to strip paint, Theo slid a key across the counter. "Your own set. Stay as long as you need. Rent's covered. Dad's estate will sort that." I stared at the metal, cold against my palm. "I can't just mooch off you." He leaned against the fridge, arms crossed, that half-smile tugging at his lips. "Mooch? Your family, Elias. Blood or not." Blood. The word lodged in my chest, heavy with unspoken truths. I was gay, Had known since 16, when I kissed my best friend behind the bleachers and felt the world shift. Dad had hugged me tight when I came out at 19, muttering, "Love's love, son. Don't let anyone tell you different." But Mom? She'd probably laugh it off as another phase, like my artistic tendencies she used to mock in those rare phone calls. Theo didn't know yet, and part of me wondered if he ever would. Days blurred into a rhythm I didn't expect. Theo's coaching schedule meant early mornings and late evenings, leaving me the loft to grieve in peace. Pacing the hardwood floors, flipping through Dad's old letters Theo had boxed up in the closet, each one addressed to my boy Theo, with updates on my life tacked on like footnotes. Elias aced his exams, kid's a genius. But the photos told a different story. Mom beaming at Theo's high school graduation, her arm around him in a cap and gown, while I'd graduated community college alone, Dad snapping blurry pics with his phone. The favoritism gnawed at me, a slow poison. One afternoon, rain lashing the windows again, I found the album buried under a pile of coaching gear. Glossy pages of Theo's childhood, birthdays with cakes towering like skyscrapers, vacations to Disneyland where Mom's laughter seemed to echo off the paper. And there, tucked in the back, a single snapshot of me at 5, Dad hoisting me on his shoulders at the Fremont Fair, Mom already cropped out. My hands shook as I traced the edges. Why him? Why always him? Theo came home early that day, drenched from practice, towel around his neck. He froze in the doorway, eyes on the album splayed open like a wound. "Shit, Elias. I didn't mean for you to." I slammed it shut, heat rising in my face. "Find that. It's fine. Just piecing together the puzzle of why she picked you." His face fell, the towel dropping to the floor. "She didn't pick me. After the divorce, she tried with you too, at first. Dad said you were too much like him, stubborn, quiet. She wanted easy." Easy. The word exploded in my chest, years of abandonment crystallizing into rage. Easy? I was a kid, crying for her at night, while Dad worked overtime to pay for her alimony. Theo stepped closer, hands raised like I was a spooked horse. "I know. God, I know. She left me too. Eventually, said coaching was a dead-end job, that I was wasting my potential. But she always sent checks, called on holidays. For you. Nothing." His voice cracked, and suddenly we were inches apart, the air thick with the scent of rain and regret. I wanted to shove him, to scream that it wasn't fair, but his eyes, those damn blue eyes, held mine, raw and pleading. "You're not second best, Elias. Not to me." The words hung there, electric, and before I could stop it, my hand fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. Our breaths mingled, the world narrowing to the heat between us, and then his lips were on mine, soft at first, tentative, then hungry, like he'd been starving for this as long as I had. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, the album forgotten on the floor. "Theo, we can't." But he silenced me with a finger to my lips, his thumb brushing my cheek. "Why not? We're not blood, Elias. And I've thought about this. Since that picnic, when you looked at me like I was the sun." My heart thundered, the confession spilling out in a rush, coming out to Dad, the hookups in college that left me hollow, the fear of being just another disappointment in Mom's eyes. Theo listened, his hand never leaving mine, and when I finished, he pulled me to the couch, wrapping me in his arms as the storm raged outside. That night, tangled in his sheets, we crossed lines we couldn't uncross, bodies moving in sync, whispers of "I see you," against skin slick with sweat. It was messy, forbidden in the shadow of our shared loss, but it felt like coming home. Morning light filtered through the blinds like hesitant fingers, tracing patterns on Theo's bare back as he slept beside me, his breathing steady, a soft snore rumbling from his chest. I watched him for a moment, the curve of his shoulder, the way his hair fell across his forehead, and panic clawed at my throat. Not regret, exactly, but the sharp edge of reality slicing through the haze of last night. What the hell were we doing? Half-brothers, or close enough, crashing together in grief's wreckage, turning pain into something that could shatter us both. I slipped from the bed, pulling on yesterday's jeans, and padded to the kitchen, the coffee maker gurgling like an old friend as I stared out at the canal, freighters gliding past like ghosts. Theo found me there 10 minutes later, boxers slung low on his hips, eyes bleary but warm. "Hey," he murmured, pressing a kiss to my temple before grabbing a mug. No awkwardness, no "what did we just do" recriminations, just that easy grace he had, like the world bent to his will. We sipped in silence at first, the only sound the drip of the faucet, until he set his cup down with a clink. "Last night, it wasn't a mistake, Elias. Not for me." I met his gaze, searching for the lie, but found only steadiness. "Me neither. But Mom, Dad, they'd roll in their graves." He laughed, a low chuckle that eased the knot in my chest. "Dad wanted us close. And Mom, screw her narrative. This is ours." His hand covered mine, thumb stroking the knuckles, and just like that, the panic ebbed, replaced by a fragile hope blooming in the ruins. We fell into a dangerous routine after that, mornings tangled in sheets, his lips mapping my collarbone while I traced the tattoos on his arms, stories of old soccer scars, and bar fights won. Afternoons, he'd head to the field, kids swarming him like puppies, and I'd wander Ballard, sketching the murals on Northwest Market Street, the fairies cutting through the mist, trying to capture the ache of Dad's absence on paper. Evenings were ours, cooking disasters in the kitchen, burnt stir-fries redeemed by Theo's improvised sauces, followed by movies on the couch, his head in my lap, my fingers carding through his hair until sleep claimed us. It was domestic, intoxicating, a bubble against the grief pressing in from all sides. But bubbles burst, and mine started cracking the day I answered Mom's call. The phone buzzed on the counter while Theo showered, her name flashing like a warning. I almost let it go to voicemail, but curiosity, or masochism, won out. Elias? Finally. I've been worried. Her voice was honeyed concern, the kind that masked barbs. How's Theo holding up? Poor boy must be devastated. No mention of me, of course. I gripped the edge of the sink, knuckles white. We're managing. Dad's service is next week. A pause, then a sigh. Yes, well, I'll fly in for that. Theo asked me to help with arrangements, said you were. Overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. The word ignited the fuse. He what? Mom, I'm handling it. With him. Laughter tinkled down the line, light and cutting. Oh, sweetie. You're always so intense. Theo's the rock, always has been. Remember when he was little? I'd dress him in those tiny suits for Dad's work parties, and everyone cooed. You. Well, you preferred hiding under the table. My vision blurred, hot tears pricking. Because you left, Mom. You chose your new life over us. Silence stretched, then her tone sharpened. I did what was best. Theo turned out fine, successful, stable. You. Dad spoiled you, Elias. Made you soft. Soft. The accusation landed like a slap, echoing the taunts from high school bullies who'd sniffed out my secret before I did. I hung up without another word, the phone clattering to the floor as sobs racked me. Theo emerged towel-clad, freezing at the sight. Elias? What happened? I collapsed against him, words tumbling out in a garbled mess. The call, her barbs, the favoritism laid bare like an autopsy. He held me tight, water dripping from his hair onto my shirt, murmuring nonsense comforts until the storm passed. She's wrong, he said fiercely, cupping my face. You're the strongest person I know, facing Dad's death head-on, building a life from sketches and dreams. She's the one running scared. We made love on the kitchen floor then, desperate and slow, his body a shield against her poison. But the seed was planted, doubt whispering in the quiet hours. Was I just the backup plan, the consolation prize in a family rigged from the start? The funeral was a blur of black umbrellas and damp earth, Greenwood Cemetery slick under the relentless drizzle. Dad's plot overlooked Lake Washington, the water choppy and gray, mirroring the mourners' faces. Mom arrived in pearls and a tailored coat, air-kissing Theo before turning to me with a perfunctory hug. You look tired, dear. Up close, she was ageless, 52 going on 40, Botox smooth skin and highlighted bob, but her eyes were calculating, scanning the crowd like a hostess at a gala. Theo stood between us, arm around my waist in a gesture that felt possessive, protective. Mom, Elias planned most of this. The eulogy's his. She arched a brow, lips pursing. Really? Well, don't overdo it. Keep it light. As if grief could be scripted. I spoke from the heart, voice cracking over the podium, words pouring out about Dad's laugh during Mariners games, his calloused hands teaching me to bait a hook at Golden Gardens, the quiet pride when I came out. He loved without conditions, I said, gaze locking on Theo's. Taught me that family isn't blood, it's choice. The crowd murmured assent, but Mom's face was stone, her hand tight on Theo's knee. Afterward, at the reception in a rented hall off Aurora Avenue, she cornered me by the coffee urn. That was dramatic. Theo, honey, why don't you tell him about the trust? Your father's will leaves the bulk to you, for the house, the savings. Elias gets a token, but really, it's for stability. Token. The word hollowed me out. Theo's eyes widened, jaw clenching. Mom, that's not. But she steamrolled on. It's practical, darling. Elias can use it for whatever artists do. I walked out then, the rain soaking me to the bone, Theo chasing after. Elias, wait. The will's not final. Dad told me he split it even. Lies, all of it. But in his arms under the awning, kissing away the salt of my tears, I clung to the truth of us, fragile as it was. Back at the loft, the fight simmered. Theo paced, phone in hand, replaying her voicemail. Theo, don't let him guilt you. You're my success story, don't drag him down. I sat on the bed, album open again, photos mocking me. She's always seen me as the failure. Gay, broke, clinging to Dad's ghost. Theo knelt before me, hands on my thighs. No. She sees what she wants, a mirror for her regrets. But I see you, Elias. Brilliant, beautiful, brave. His kiss was fire, igniting us until exhaustion claimed us, bodies entwined like roots seeking soil. Yet sleep brought dreams of Mom's laughter, echoing over Dad's grave, and I woke with resolve. Time to unearth the full rot. I started small, rifling through the boxes Theo had labeled Dad's stuff in the storage unit off Leary Way, the air thick with dust and motor oil. Papers yellowed with age, tax returns, mortgage docs. Mom's divorce decree scrawled with her looping signature. One envelope caught my eye, postmarked from her Maui honeymoon, addressed to Dad. Jack, keep Theo close. Elias, he'll find his way. He's too sensitive for this world. Sensitive. Code for weak, for different. The boy who'd rather draw mermaids than kickballs, who cried at ED while Theo cheered touchdowns. I photocopied it at the corner Kinko's, hands trembling, the machine's hum a dirge for illusions shattered. Theo noticed the shift, the way I'd withdraw into sketches, charcoal smudging my fingers as I rendered fractured family portraits. Mom's smile a mask, Dad's eyes weary, us two brothers as shadows merging. Talk to me, he urged one evening, as we walked the locks at Shill's Hole Bay, salmon leaping in futile arcs against the tide. Seals barked from the docks, oblivious to human storms. I showed him the letter, the words blurring in the salt air. She's poisoned everything. Even you. She molded you into her perfect son, and I was the scrap left behind. He stopped, turning me to face him, the sunset gilding his features in gold. She tried, Elias. After she left Dad, she dragged me to therapy, pageants, anything to fix me. When I told her I liked boys and girls, she booked conversion camps. I ran to Dad instead. His confession hit like a wave, cold and clarifying. You never said. He shrugged, vulnerability cracking his armor. Didn't want to burden you. But here we are, both her rejects, finding each other. We kissed there, public and unashamed, a fisherman tipping his hat as gulls wheeled overhead. It was defiance, delicious and dangerous. Emboldened, I dug deeper, hacking into Dad's old email on his ancient laptop. Password his birthday, simple as his love. Threads with Mom spanned years. Pleas for money. Guilt trips over Theo's potential. Dismissals of my phases. One from 5 years back gutted me. Jack, Theo's engaged, finally settling down. Elias? Still floundering? Send him my way. I know a therapist for his issues. My sexuality, reduced to a footnote. I forwarded it all to Theo, who read in silence, face paling. This ends now, he growled, dialing her on speaker. Mom, we need to talk. About the will, about everything. Her voice crackled through, syrupy at first. Theo, darling, what's this about? Elias there? Yeah, I snapped. And we're done with your games. The line went taut, her facade cracking. Games. I gave you life, both of you. Theo, you owe me. Those checks I sent? Your coaching certs? Elias would have ended up on the streets without Jack's coddling. Theo's fist clenched. You left us. And the will. Dad split it even because he knew you'd pull this. She laughed, sharp as glass. Even? Oh, please. I influenced that lawyer. Theo gets the house, the investments. Elias? A pittance for his art. It's mercy. The call devolved into shouts, accusations flying like shrapnel, her claiming Dad's death was karma for his weakness, me hurling back her abandonment as the real sin. Theo ended it, voice steel. We're contesting it. And we're done. Silence after the click. Then he pulled me close, our foreheads touching. I'm sorry. For all of it. But anger festered, a third will in our bed. That night, making love felt edged with thorns, his touches desperate, mine grasping, as if we could fuck away the fracture. Afterward, lying spent, I whispered, what if she's right? What if I'm not enough? He traced my spine, voice fierce. You're everything. We'll fight this, together. The lawyer's office in Pioneer Square was a tomb of mahogany and leather-bound tomes, the air stale with old secrets. Mr. Hargrove, Dad's attorney since the 70s, adjusted his glasses, folders splayed like a bad hand. Jack was clear, equal shares. But Elena, your mother, pressured me post-diagnosis. Said Theo was the responsible one. Elias too unstable for assets. Unstable. The word echoed Mom's therapy jabs. Her implication, I was broken. Theo leaned forward, knuckles white. We want to contest it. Full disclosure. Hargrove sighed, sliding over a notarized addendum. Mom's doing, dated weeks before Dad's death, tilting everything her way. She visited him, you know, alone. Convinced him it was fair. The betrayal burned, Dad's final weakness exposed. Outside, under the pergola dripping ivy, Theo raged. That bitch. She preyed on him. I nodded, numb. And us. But we can't let her win. We plotted in whispers over IPAs at the Tractor Tavern. The bar's neon buzz a counterpoint to our scheming. Hire a new lawyer, dig for financial trails. Mom's gifts to Theo were loans, not love, with strings attached in fine print. As we walked home, arms linked, a group of teens catcalled from across the street. Fags. The slurs slicing the night. Theo stiffened, but I squeezed his hand. Ignore them. We're unbreakable. He smiled, pulling me into an alley for a stolen kiss. Walls graffiti tagged with hearts and protests. Damn right. But home brought reality. A package on the doorstep, Mom's handwriting slashing the label. Inside, a check for $5,000, note clipped. For Elias, start over. Theo knows better. I tore it up, confetti raining as Theo watched, pride in his eyes. Good. We build our own. Yet cracks widened. Theo's coaching suffered. Kids sensing his distraction, parents whispering about the personal issues. One night, after a parent-teacher conference gone south, he slammed home, bottle in hand. They think I'm unstable now because of us. I reached for him, but he pulled away. Maybe Mom's right. This, us, it's complicating everything. The words eviscerated, doubt flooding back. You regret it? He deflated, sinking to the floor. No. God, no. But the world's not kind to guys like us, Elias. Especially not family. We made up in tears, bodies frantic. But the seed of fear took root, twining around our joy. Halloween crept in, Ballard streets alive with costumed revelers, pumpkins grinning from stoops. Theo dragged me to a party at the old firehouse, insisting on normalcy. Me as a pirate, him a firefighter, ironic armor against our blaze. The warehouse pulsed with bass, bodies grinding under strobing lights, rainbow flags draping the rafters. We danced, lost in the throng, his hands on my hips a lifeline. But Mom's shadow loomed. A text from Theo's phone. Saw the will update. Proud of you, son. Keep Elias in line. He deleted it, but the mood soured. Outside, fog rolling off the bay, we argued. Me accusing him of hiding her calls. Him snapping, I was paranoid. I love you, he yelled. But this fight's tearing us apart. Love. The word hung, first time spoken aloud, and we crashed together, kiss bruising, fog swallowing our gasps. I love you too. I breathed, the admission a vow. Winter bit early, frost etching the windows as we hunkered down, fortifying against her siege. The new lawyer, a fierce queer woman from Capitol Hill, uncovered emails, Mom funneling Dad's alimony into Theo's education fund, then reclaiming it as debt. Extortion, she crowed. But victory tasted bittersweet. Dad's complicity stung, his love conditional in the end. Theo and I grew closer in the trenches, late nights poring over docs, his head on my shoulder, my fingers in his hair. Sex became sacrament, slow and reverent, mapping scars both seen and unseen. We're rewriting the story. He'd murmur against my neck, and I'd believe him, if only for the night. Christmas loomed like a specter, strings of lights twinkling mockingly from every Ballard bungalow, families gathering while ours splintered. Theo suggested we skip tradition, hole up with takeout and die-hard marathons, but I craved normalcy, a shield against the void. Let's host, I proposed, just us. Make new memories. He agreed, eyes lighting with that boyish grin, and we transformed the loft, a scavenged tree from the lot on 15th, ornaments filched from thrift shops, glass orbs painted with our initials, a star Theo crowned with a photo of Dad grinning at the camera. The air filled with pine and gingerbread, my sketches taped to the fridge like gallery pieces. Us as superheroes, Mom as the villain cloaked in shadows. But peace fractured on the solstice. A knock echoed mid-cookie bake, Mom on the threshold in cashmere and heels, poinsettias in hand like peace offerings. Surprise. Thought I'd drop in. Theo mentioned you were alone. Liar. Her eyes darted, taking in the intimacy. Our linked hands dusted with flour. The mistletoe Theo had hung, ironically, above the door. Theo's face hardened. We said no visitors. She breezed past, setting flowers on the island. Nonsense. Family sticks together, especially now. I bit my tongue, but she zeroed in, cooing over the tree. Charming. Though Theo's old ornaments are in storage, real crystal, from my side. Subtext, better. Superior. We ate in strained silence. Turkey thawing awkwardly in the oven, her stories dominating. Cruises with husband 4, Theo's brilliant toddler tantrums. He was always so resilient, she sighed, patting his hand. Unlike some. The barb glanced off me, but Theo bristled. Elias planned this, all of it. He's resilient too. Post-dinner, eggnog spiked heavy. She cornered us by the fire escape, city lights sprawling below like fallen stars. This arrangement. She gestured vaguely at our closeness. It's unhealthy. Theo, you're confused. Grief does that. And Elias, pushing boundaries? Classic cry for attention. Theo's glass shattered on the rail, shards glinting. We're in love, Mom. Deal with it. Her face twisted, mask slipping. Love? This is scandal, half-brothers? Jack would die again. I stepped forward, voice steady. Dad knew me, accepted me. You never did. She whirled, eyes flashing. Accepted? He pitted you. Spoiled the weak link. I built Theo, sacrificed for his future. You? A burden he couldn't shake. Theo grabbed my arm, pulling me back as I lunged. Get out, he roared. You're the burden, always have been. She left in a huff, doors slamming like thunder, her perfume lingering like accusation. The fallout was seismic. Theo paced for hours, whiskey burning his throat, while I cleaned glass, cuts stinging like metaphors. She's wrong, I repeated, bandaging his knuckles. But doubt crept in, her words worms in our Eden. That night, sex was salvation, fierce, reclaiming, his body arching under mine as I whispered litanies of worth. You're mine, I gasped, and he echoed it, nails raking my back. Dawn brought fragile truce, but the holidays hollowed us, cheer forced through gritted teeth. New Year's dawned crisp, resolutions whispered over champagne. Fight harder, love fiercer. The lawyer called mid-brunch, Mom countersuing, claiming emotional duress, painting us as manipulators preying on Dad's illness. She's going nuclear, the attorney warned. Theo slammed his fist, but I saw fear in his eyes. The job, the kids, his carefully built life teetering. What if we lose everything? He murmured later, as we bundled against the chill on the balcony, fireworks popping distant over the sound. I pulled him close, heart sinking. Then we rebuild. Together. We made promises under the stars, elopement in spring, a life unshackled from her chains. But vows are paper thin, and winter's bite-tested ours. January brought blizzards, Seattle gridlocked in white, mirroring our stasis. Trapped indoors, we bickered, me snapping at his clutter, him at my brooding sketches. One storm-lashed night, power flickering, old wounds reopened. You still check her emails? I accused, finding his phone open to a thread of pleading messages. Come home, son. Elias is poison. He flushed. Just seeing her angle. For the case. Lies soured the air, trust fraying. Am I second choice again? I yelled, storming to the guest room. Ironic exile. He followed, pleading through the door. No. You're first, always. We reconciled at midnight. Door creaking open to his arms, apologies sealed in sweat and sighs. But scars lingered, a map of vulnerabilities. Valentine's arrived tentative, Theo surprising me with a picnic in Discovery Park, blankets spread under madrona trees, Puget Sound whispering below. He unpacked heart-shaped sandwiches, a bottle of rose, and a velvet box, not ring, but a keychain etched ours. No more halves, he said, kissing my ring finger. Whole with you. Tears pricked as we ate, gulls scavenging crumbs, the world vast and kind for once. Love-making under the pines was poetry, slow, sun-dappled, his fingers interlacing mine as waves crashed accompaniment. Forever, we breathed, and I believed it, the park's ancient cedars witnesses to our pact. But Mom's siege intensified. Subpoenas arrive, demanding Theo's financials, my mental health records, a low blow, dredging therapy notes from my teens. The tabloids caught wind. Small-town scandal in the U District rag. Boeing widow's sons in inheritance war, twisted twist. We hunkered down, blinds drawn, but whispers followed. Stares at the co-op, a parent's note pulling their kid from Theo's team. Unfit influence, it read. He came home shattered, jersey muddied, eyes red. They think I'm corrupting them, because of us. Rage boiled, but I held him, rocking like Dad once rocked me. We'll prove them wrong. Show the world our love's no curse. February thawed into March, court dates looming like guillotines. We prepped relentlessly. Affidavits swearing Dad's intent, witness statements from his nurse on Mom's visits. One evening, exhausted, Theo cracked open a box from storage. Mom's old letters to him, gushy missives of pride masking control. You're my legacy, one read. Don't squander it on strays. Strays. Me. He burned them in the sink, flames dancing wild, acrid smoke curling. No more ghosts, he declared, pulling me to him. That night, we danced to Coltrane in the dark, bodies swaying, rebuilding from ash. Spring teased with cherry blossoms along the Burke-Gilman Trail, but our trial date, April 15th, loomed merciless. Mom's lawyer, a slick shark from Bellevue, deposed us separately, probing like surgeons. Isn't it true, he sneered at me, that your relationship with Mr. Harlan is motivated by greed? I met his gaze, unflinching. No, it's love, pure as yours for billable hours. Theo fared worse, voice breaking on questions of his deviant lifestyle. Irrelevant. Our attorney barked, but damage seeped. Post-depo, We drowned sorrows at the market, oysters sharp on the tongue, fairies honking like trumpets. We got this, he toasted, but his hand trembled in mine. The eve of trial, nerves electric, we drove to Golden Gardens, Dad's beach, where he'd taught us to skip stones. Waves lapped pebbles, moons silvering the water. Theo skipped 7 bounces, then turned, eyes fierce. Marry me, Elias. Not for show, for us. Win or lose. Breath caught, joy surging. Yes. We sealed it there, salt-kissed, the sound our chapel. Home, rings improvised from twist ties. We consummated under stars projected on the ceiling, vows etched in moans. In sickness, in scandal, till death do us evolve. The courtroom in downtown Seattle smelled of polished wood and desperation, fluorescent hum underscoring the judge's gavel as we filed in. Theo in his best button-down, me in the suit Dad wore to my high school play, sleeves rolled to hide sweat. Mom sat across the aisle, coiffed and composed, her lawyer flanking like a guard dog. She avoided our eyes, but I felt her disdain, a chill draft. The gallery held a smattering. Theo's coaching buddy, my old prof from Seattle Central, a reporter scribbling furiously. No fanfare, just the grind of justice. Our love the unspoken undercurrent. Opening arguments flew like arrows, hers painting us as opportunists, gold-digging lovers twisting Dad's will in a tragic family melodrama. Ours countered with facts, timelines, emails, Dad's video testament recorded weeks before, voice frail but firm. Equal for my boys. No interference. The footage played, grainy on the screen, Dad in his hospital bed, eyes locking on the camera. Elias, Theo, love you both. Share it all. Mom's facade cracked then, a handkerchief dabbing artfully, but her sniffle rang false. Witnesses piled on. The nurse testifying to her coercive visits, Hargrove crumbling under cross, admitting pressure. She promised referrals, he muttered, for the firm. Theo took the stand midday, striding tall despite the tremor I alone saw. Her lawyer pounced. Mr. Harlan, isn't your relationship with Elias incestuous? A ploy to consolidate inheritance. Gasps rippled. The judge banged for order. Theo's jaw set. Incestuous? We're not blood, half-brothers by law, not genes. And love? It's real, save me from her strings. He detailed her manipulations, the gifts as loans, therapy as control, her abandonment veiled in concern. She favored me to mold me, discarded Elias as flawed. But Dad saw us equal, gay or straight, artist or coach. Tears glistened, but his voice held steel. This fight's for him, for the family we choose. Applause broke protocol, the judge's glare quelling it. My turn came afternoon, heart hammering as I swore in. The shark circled. Elias, your history, depression, therapy, doesn't that make you unreliable? Motivated by spite. I breathed deep, channeling Dad's quiet strength. Spite. No. Clarity. Mom left when I was 8, chose her freedom over us. Favored Theo because he fit her image, straight-A athlete, not the sensitive gay kid drawing fairies. Snickers died under the judge's eye. I laid it bare, the cropped photos, the token bequests, her emails dismissing my coming out as a phase. She called me unstable, but her cruelty built walls Dad tore down. With Theo, I found home, not greed, but grace. I glanced at him, our eyes meeting, love a lifeline. We're contesting for equality, for Dad's true will. Recess brought chaos. Mom hissing at her lawyer in the hall, Theo squeezing my hand under the table, proud of you. We reconvened for closings, her side hammering, family sanctity. Ours, truth's mercy. The judge recessed for deliberation, days stretching like taffy. We waited in limbo, loft a cocoon of takeout and tender touches. Theo's fingers kneading my shoulders, my lips on his temple. Whatever happens, he murmured one night, rain pattering, we're free. But fear not, eviction from the life we'd built. Mom's victory, a Pyrrhic crown. Verdict day dawned sunny, incongruous with the knot in my gut. Court packed tighter, Mom preening in victory's assumption. The judge cleared her throat, glasses perched. After review, the court finds for the plaintiffs. The original will stands, equal shares. Ms. Harlan's addendum vacated for undue influence. Cheers erupted. Theo crushed me in a hug, tears hot on my neck. Mom bolted, face ashen, her lawyer scrambling. Outside, reporters swarmed, comment on the romance. But we linked arms, stonewalling. Just justice, Theo said, and we fled to the Pike Place, tossing coins in the fountain for luck reborn. Elation crested, but reckoning loomed. Mom called that evening, voice venom-laced. This isn't over. You'll regret humiliating me. Theo snatched the phone. It is over. Stay away, or we'll expose everything. The loans, the lies. Click. Silence. Then laughter. Ours. Cathartic. bubbling over wine. We celebrated properly. Dinner at Canlis, skyline glittering, his hand on my thigh under the table. Home, undressed by candlelight, we worshipped, tongues tracing vows, bodies a testament to survival. Husband, he gasped, and I echoed it, climax crashing like waves on alky. Spring unfurled triumphant, cherry petals confetti in our wake. We hired a planner for the wedding. Small, queer joy on a Whidbey Island beach, waves lapping vows. Invites went to allies. Theo's team parents who'd stayed loyal, my artist friends from Fremont's galleries. Mom's absence was presence, a ghost banished. But closure called. I penned a letter, words measured. Your favoritism scarred us, but we healed without you. Choose better, for yourself. Mailed it with the torn check remnants, a symbolic severing. Summer hummed, estate settled, funds split clean, enough for Theo's coaching nonprofit, my graphic design studio dream. We moved to a cottage in West Seattle, views of the Olympics, garden for basil and basilisks, Theo's joke. Mornings, coffee on the porch, his kiss salty from runs. Nights, tangled limbs, stories swapped, his bisexuality explored in college flings, my first love's betrayal. You're the anchor, he'd say, and I'd believe, scars fading to stories. Yet echoes lingered. A fall call from Hargrove, Mom contesting again, grasping at straws. We sighed, but faced it united, mediation in neutral ground, her across the table, haggard sans Botox. Why, she pleaded, eyes on Theo. I gave you everything. He leaned forward. No, you gave conditions. Elias gave acceptance. She crumbled then, sobs real for once. I was scared, losing Jack, starting over. You were my redo. He was the mistake. Him me. Confession's knife twisted, but pity stirred. Forgive, I asked. Theo nodded. Not forget, but move on. She signed the waiver, leaving with a whisper. Be happy, for Jack. Autumn leaves turned, our wedding a blaze of color. Island fairy chugging guests, officiant a drag queen with flair. Vows exchanged barefoot in sand. In rain and rage, I choose you. Rings simple gold, engraved whole. Dance under stars to Otis Redding. First slow sway sealing eternity. Honeymoon in the San Juans. Kayaking Orcas wakes. Nights in lighthouse inns. Lovemaking to foghorn's lullaby. Winter returned gentle. First anniversary marked with sketches. Our year in panels. Court triumph. Beach yes. Mom's tear-streaked goodbye. Theo framed them, hanging proud. Our epic, he said. And it was, kith from kin, love from loss, a tapestry woven tight. 2 years blurred into a rhythm sacred and sure. Our cottage a haven where grief's embers glowed warm, not scorching. Theo's nonprofit thrived. Kickstart futures, free soccer camps for queer youth in underserved neighborhoods, fields alive with laughter he'd coax from shy kicks. I'd tag along, sketching portraits, a trans kid's triumphant grin, a non-binary goalie's fierce stance. You're their hero, I'd tease, and he'd blush, pulling me aside for stolen kisses behind the equipment shed. My studio flourished too. Commissions for murals at the LGBTQ Center, book covers for indie presses, lines that captured Seattle's soul, rain-slicked streets, pride flags whipping in wind. Success tasted sweet, untainted by Mom's shadow. But family, mended or not, pulls like tide. A spring email pinged. Mom, forwarding an invite to her remarriage. Husband 5, a tech bro from Silicon Valley. Theo, Elias, come. Fresh start. Attached photo. Her beaming in lace, him blandly handsome. Theo's face soured over breakfast. Trap. I shrugged, buttering toast. Or olive branch. We go, set boundaries. He relented, curiosity winning, and we flew south. The planes hum a bridge over old chasms. The wedding was Napa excess. Vineyards rolling gold. Guests in linen. Champagne, fizzing like false joy. Mom air-kissed us at the altar, her boys, trilling. You look domestic. Subtext, settled. Boring. Theo's grip tightened on mine. Reception sprawled under string lights, toasts sloshing nostalgia. Hers gushed over new hubby. He sees me, truly. Irony bit. We slipped away to the terrace, stars pricking velvet sky. Sees her wallet, Theo muttered. But later, cake-cutting paused. She pulled us aside. Private cabana, air thick with Merlot. I was wrong, she blurted, eyes glassy. About the will, the everything. Therapy helped, seeing my patterns. Patterns, favoritism as fear, control as love's counterfeit. I favored Theo because he mirrored my ambition. Elias, you echoed Jack's quiet. The part one fled. Confession hung, raw? I nodded, throat tight. We forgive, but we protect our peace. Theo added, visit if you earn it, start small. She wept then, real rivers, hugging us fierce. My sons. Flight home. Theo's head on my shoulder. Closure? Maybe. Or chapters end. Summer brought rainbows literal and not. Pride Month exploded in colors. Our float in the paraded chariot of cardboard goals and paint-splattered easels. Theo MCNG cheers, me waving from the helm. That night, after party at the loft, bodies pulsing to RuPaul remixes, we danced till dawn, sweat slick and euphoric. This, Theo shouted over bass, is us. Home, collapsing in a heap, his body over mine. Forever parade. Love then was carnival, playful, pounding, confetti of breaths. Fall unearthed roots. Dad's old journal, unearthed in the attic during Reno. Pages yellowed, entries in his blocky scrawl. Theo called, strong kid, like Elena. Elias sketched a boat today. Reminds me of my Navy days. Love them equal, pray they know. Tears spotted ink. We read aloud by firelight. Voices weaving his ghost into our tapestry. He knew, I whispered. Theo kissed my temple. And approved. Inspired, we planned a memorial hike. Rattlesnake Ledge at sunrise. Dad's favorite trail, wildflowers nodding in breeze. At the summit, overlooking the valley misty and vast, we scattered ashes we'd saved. Pinch for each. Wind carrying him home. To choices, Theo toasted with thermos coffee. Descending, hands clasped, we felt lighter, legacy a compass not chain. Winter's hush, gifted surprise. Theo's knee, post-game dinner at Ivor's, ring box under the chowder bowl. No, wait, that was years back. This, a onesie, tiny, striped like a referee. Adopting, breath hitched. Fostering first, saw a kid at camp, needs a home. Joy surged, tangled with terror, us as dads. But vision clarified, playdates on the pitch, bedtime stories illustrated by me. Yes, I choked, kissing him salty with clam broth. Paperwork loomed, home studies probing our unconventional union, but we aced it. Love's proof in pudding. Spring bloomed with bureaucracy's bloom. Little Jamie arrived May 1st, 5 years old, brown curls and wary eyes, yanked from a system that chewed tender souls. First night, bunk bed assembled, Theo reading Goodnight Moon while I sketched his rapt face. Jamie curled against him, thumb in mouth. Stay? Theo's voice cracked. Always. Bedtime after, we debriefed in whispers, bodies spent from day's whirl. We're parents. I marveled, his hand on my belly, echo of creation. Sex was gentle, reverent, new layer to our litany, for 3 now. Summer tested metal, Jamie's nightmares, screams piercing dusk, don't leave. Theo'd rock him, soccer ball clutched like talisman. I'd draw monsters banished by superheroes us. Mom visited tentative, first supervised, her bringing cookies, eyes softening at Jamie's gap-toothed grin. Grandma, he queried. She teared. Yes, peanut. Progress, prickly but pure. Pride that year, Jamie on our shoulders, waving a flag bigger than him. Family reimagined. Fall's harvest. Adoption finalized in chambers flowery with roses, judge beaming. A forever family. Jamie's new name. Harlan Reed, our bridge. Party at the park, balloons soaring, Theo's toast, to roots and wings. Night fell soft, Jamie tucked in. We slipped to the garden, stars winking. Thank you. I murmured, bodies aligning under harvest moon. Love crested slow, profound. Parents now, lovers eternal. Winter wrapped us warm, holidays handmade. Gingerbread lighthouse, carols off-key with Jamie's lisp. Mom joined, place set tentative, her gift a locket, Dad's photo inside, us 3 tiny beside. Mended, she whispered. Not whole, but healing. New Year's, clinking mugs with cocoa, to evolutions. 5 years post-verdict. Our life a mosaic of milestones, cracks gilded not hidden. Jamie thrived, school star, art prodigy blending my lines with Theo's strategy, soccer cleats muddy by the door. The cottage expanded, studio shed for me, trophy case for him, fort under stairs for our wildling. Mom orbited closer, weekly calls, summer weeks at her vineyard, teaching Jamie chess with grudging grace. You're good at this, she'd concede to me, passing the queen. Always were. Bridges built brick by awkward brick. But scars itched. A decade marker for Dad's passing stirred ghosts. We drove to his grave, Jamie chattering about school plays, weeds cleared, stone polished. Grandpa Jack, Theo explained, loved boats. Jamie placed a skipstone. For luck. Drive home, Theo's hand in mine. Rearview, Jamie dozing. Full circle. Yet circles spin uneven. Mom's health dipped. Cancer, ironic echo. Chemo sapping her glow. Hospital visits in Bellevue. Sterile halls mocking reunion. I pushed you away, she confessed one dusk, for dripping, fearing my own fractures. Favoritism? Cowardice. Forgiveness flowed freer now, tempered by time. Rest easy, I said, squeezing her hand. We've got you. Theo's program scaled, national grants, camps in Portland, Boise, drawing queer kids from shadows. Accolades piled, local hero plaque, TEDx talk on fields of belonging. I illustrated his book, Kicks and Kisses, Tales of Turf Triumphs Over Bias. Launch at Elliott Bay Books, crowd wrapped, Jamie beaming front row. Signing line, a teen whispered to Theo, "You saved me. Like Elias saved you." Later, hotel suite overlooking the bay, celebration intimate. Champagne, his tie loosened, my shirt unbuttoned. Proud. I breathed, knees to carpet, worshipping the man who'd chosen chaos with me. He lifted me, mirror reflecting us. Aged gracefully, lines of laughter etching eyes. Partners in crime. Ecstasy built orchestral, crescendo in cries muffled by pillows. Afterglow of vow renewed. Jamie's 10th birthday. Beach bash at Alki, kites soaring, cake lighthouse shaped. Mom arrived, wig askew but spirit fierce, gifting a model tugboat, Dad's old hobby. From Jack, she lied gently, winking. As sun dipped, Jamie tugged us. Story time. How you met. We spun it sanitized. Grief brought us, love kept us. But his eyes, sharp as Theo's, twinkled. The kissy parts too? Laughter erupted, Mom chuckling deepest. Bonfire crackled, marshmallows toasting, tales weaving. Our scandal now saga. Winter brought storm. Mom's remission fragile, a fall fracturing hip. Rehab dragged, us shuttling Jamie, meals prepped. One night, post drop-off, exhaustion crested. Theo snapping at burnt roast, me retreating to sketches. Sorry, he sighed, finding me curled. This, caregiving, it's her pattern reversed. I nodded, pulling him down. We're breaking it, together. Sheets tangled, touches apologetic, turning tender. Fingers exploring familiar planes, breaths sinking in silent symphony. Anchor me, he pleaded, and I did. Release a reset. Spring's thaw mirrored her rally. Walker ditched, garden plots tilled with Jamie. Green thumb from Jack, she quipped. We hosted Mother's Day brunch. Loft echoes of old pains, now palimpsest over peace. Toasts clinked, to mothers remade. Hers teared, to sons who forgave. Summer scorched, family road trip, Oregon coast, dunes climbed, waves chased. Mom in the van, regaling tall tales, Jamie's why?'s endless. Evenings, campfires, Theo strumming guitar off-key, my harmony's harmony. One dawn, beach walk, Mom linked arms. Elias, I see it now. Your strength, quiet fire. Sorry it took cancer. Weight lifted, old yoke slipped. Water under the pier. I replied, and meant it. Fall foliage framed harvest fest, pumpkin patch, hayrides, Theo's competitive pie baking. Mom judged, bias banished. Elias's crust wins, flakier. Laughter genuine, wounds woven to wisdom. Halloween, Jamie's pirate costume, us flanking as captains. Theo's beard salt and peppered, my hair silver threaded. Trick-or-treat trail, porch lights welcoming, our door aglow. Winter's gift, Mom's full recovery toast at Christmas, ham-glazed, tree-groaning ornaments. Jamie's gift, family portrait sketched, all four beaming. Complete, he declared. Post-feast, snow dusting, Theo and I escaped to the balcony, breaths fogging glass. Look what we built, he murmured, arms circling. Below, Jamie and Mom building snow forts, unlikely allies. Inside, later, door locked soft, love-making meditative. Slow grinds, eye-locked intimacies, climax a shared sigh. Eternal, whispered. New decade dawned, Jamie teen-bound, braces glinting questions. Am I gay? Casual over cereal. Theo choked on coffee, I smiled. Whoever you love, we love. Hugs tripled, his coming out a non-event, pride pin on backpack, boyfriend at prom. Mom, overhearing, like his dad's. Pride swelled, cycle benevolent. A decade's end. Vow renewal on Whidbey, same beach, Jamie efficient in training. Vows evolved. In storms and stills, I choose you, us. Rings resized, fitting fuller fingers. Dance to waves, Mom swaying with Jamie. Her, I do, to grandparenting, unspoken. Honeymoon redux, San Juans, kayaks tandem, nights lighthouse lit, love undimmed, passionate, playful, profound. Legacy bloomed. Theo's camps franchised, my murals citywide. Love's labyrinth at the center, paths intertwining fates. Mom's memoir ghosted by me. Favors folly, bestseller in self-help, proceeds to queer youth. Redemption arc, she joked. Final autumn, Dad's would-be 65th. Picnic at Golden Gardens, blankets spread, basket brimming. Story swapped, ghost-friendly now. Jamie skipped stones, 9 bounces, Grandpa's luck. As sun set, Theo's arm heavy draped, Mom's hand in mine. Family, she said. And it was, forged in fire, tempered in tears, shining.